From unassuming beginnings in Soweto, Mahlangu is adept at playing different instruments, making him a go-to person for composers and musicians.
From age 12, when I was asked in class, what are you going to be when you grow up? I said, I want to be a composer. And at the time when everybody wanted to be a doctor, a nurse, you know. And I remember Mr. Masemula, my teacher, says, are you sure your parents will agree to it? I said, well, I don't know, but I feel strong about this.
Well, it comprises of arrangements of new material for a big band performance, DVD and sound recording in front of a live audience, filming of a documentary and compilation of the music scores in the book form. Well, that's a veteran broadcaster Ike Phahla's initiative titled Jazz Giants Project, and follows the successful recording of the same initiative by Feya, Faku and Wyatt. That was back in 2014, but they've made developments since then around a project that also features Andile Yenana, as well as you saw earlier, saxophonist Khaya Mahlangu. Ike Phaahla joins us now in his capacity as CEO of Collaboration Concept Productions. Good morning, Ike. Welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning to you, Lewu, and thank you very much for the invitation, and good morning to your viewers here at home and elsewhere.
Let's remind our viewers about what this project is, how it came about.
Well, it's wonderful that we're talking about it during Heritage Month because our music is our heritage, and these are the people who are behind that music. The project is the main objective is for the artists themselves to tell their life stories. We have seen where artists' stories are being told from a different perspective by people, but this time around we thought, let's have them tell their story so that it can be a reference point to all those students who are coming and those who are studying music, especially as an inspiration to youngsters, because some of the stories are unique. In some instances, you find that parents are the ones who are encouraging their children once they see the passion. In some instances, parents are resistant to that. So it's a story that's not unique to one individual, but it goes across.
And speaking to these musicians, Khaya Mahlangu and Andile Yenana, must have brought out information that you didn't know about them. What came out of those conversations and in putting together this documentaries?
That their trip has been marked by successes, and there have been disappointments, and that there have been people who took them by the hand.
Yep.
And their lives have become 360 degrees around, where they are now taking people by the hand and teaching because of what happened to them when they were starting off as youngsters. And also, it's important that you look at the dynamic relationships between families, and because we don't speak only to the artists, but to those around them who are very close to them as well. And it brings out that kind of relationship that you realize that we are all human. We have our faults here and there, but then we have to dust ourselves off once we fall and pick ourselves up and rise again.
Why is it so important that we document and have these available in music libraries and schools?
It is important in a sense that it is part of our heritage. If we hadn't, let me take the opportunity to also thank the National Lotteries Commission. If we didn't have an opportunity to do this, the music, for instance, would not have been recorded. It would not have been arranged for big band. But our reference point has always, in the schools mainly, has been on American standards. And we want that to change a little bit with a little contribution that we are making, that our children can see that we've got composers within, we've got arrangers, and we've got music that they can refer to. For instance, Marcus Wyatt's album has won a Summer Award, and that's a good achievement. If he had not recorded that album, he might not have had that Summer Award. And we think this is going to go a long way towards giving confidence to those young musicians who are taking this craft very seriously, that there are people that have gone on this route before that we are following. It's a legacy project.
Mm-hmm. And how do you select which artists are part of the project? I mean, you've done Feya, Faku, Wyatt, as you just said, Andile Yenana, Khaya Mahlangu. Who else is on the list of artists that you'd like to put into a documentary and make available to music students?
Maybe to just go back a little bit, level, to give context to how we selected. You know, we thought we would be able to do people like who have passed on. Ernest Motle, Hotep, Idris Galeta, they had a lot of stories to tell. But we have a small committee that sits, and we have a list that comes up, and we get in touch with the artists. And if they are keen to do the project, then we approach them, we do the formalities. So there is no set format in which we choose the artists, but we just look at the contribution that they've made to the art form, especially to the jazz genre. They don't have to be much old, they don't have to be young, but it's what they have left and what they have invested in the art form.
So who's next at the moment? You've just put this current work on DVD. Who's next on the list? Are you able to at least reveal where you're going to next?
Not as yet. It's very difficult when you don't have the money in hand. And we're talking about a finite product, which is money. But as soon as we get a green light as to where we are going with this, and we hope that we can maybe, while we're still teaching, we can get some channel to license the DVDs and the documentaries, because we're running short of factual stories that we can tell via television and to showcase some of our heritage. If we can get that, then it will create some more resources for us to be able to carry on with the project. But as soon as we get something in hand, there are several names that are bubbling about, and some of them will come as a surprise to many because they regard them as still very young, but we will certainly communicate that.
And as you go along, obviously when you started this project, you had a vision, and then at the end of the project, then you see, okay, it went this direction. What are you going to improve on going forward, given the lessons that came with this project?
I think if we can dedicate more time to the making of the documentaries and also to have an open heart. I'm fortunate that some of the artists we've worked with have embraced the project wholeheartedly. And the last concert that we did, which was the 19th of January in 2019, just before the big lockdown, we had a lot of South Africans coming out and supporting the performance. And in that way, it's very encouraging. But also, there's been an uptake on the score sheets, as well as the music itself, as most of the schools have halted. We've delivered, and some of the libraries were closed for now. But we're going to start off, as we are on a lesser level, to go and deliver to those libraries. We are also encouraged by the fact that some of the musicians and the music schools have performed the material already from Feya Faku's recordings, as well as that of Marcus.
All right, Ike Phaahla, thank you so much for talking to us about collaboration concepts. It is the Jazz Giants project, which comprises of arrangements of new material for big band performances, as well as DVD and sound recording in front of a live audience, filming of a documentary and compilation of stories of music scores in book form. And we've just spoken to Ike Phaahla about that.